Was it really that bad? Was what you experienced, does it feel like you know things happened and you were manipulated, but you kind of then think maybe it wasn't as bad as you thought it was, and maybe you're just overreacting, or maybe it was your fault, or maybe it didn't happen the way you thought it happened, and you're really confused, and you know you've had gaslighting happen, but even though you understand that there was gaslighting, you still forget some of the things that happened. Have you had arguments with someone, just like fighting and yelling and all of this, and you don't even know what happened or why you got there or how you ended up in that position? You might be experiencing a type, it just happens when you have had these types of manipulations that narcissists do to you. Okay, it is literally a form of amnesia, right? It's like part of you knows what happened, and yet you really place your finger on it. I have people come to me all the time as they uncover the things that happened. They say, "Oh my gosh, yesterday I just remembered this. How did I forget that? How could I have forgotten all these things?" Or if I say, "Right, make a list of the toxic things that happened. Go ahead, that can help you break these trauma bonds." And they go, "Gosh, I can't remember. I know they were there, but it's like I can't remember specifics." Okay, so this is a normal thing to have happen. What's going on when you have this happen is okay, so basically you're forgetting to fill in the scope of all that happened. And it's not uncommon. It's totally common, and you have to be careful here because this is when you will slip often, because you're also trauma bonded when this is going on, most likely, and either fall for a hoover or reach back out to a toxic narcissistic person. It is the easiest way to be unable to resist a hoover is to not help yourself recall, or to, so at least if you know that there's stuff you're forgetting and there's stuff you're not able to bring to memory right now, at least if you know this is going on, like you feel those gaps, then when you are being hoovered or you are wanting to reach back out, at least you can go, "Oh, wait a minute. My mind's not fully here yet. My mind's not fully present to all that happened. I need to not make a decision right now. I need to not reach out. I need to resist this hoover and just get through this next hurdle." Okay. So it is a cognitive suppression when this happens, where a survivor, a person who has lived through these types of manipulations, has trouble recalling where the boundaries were crossed. You have trouble recalling the line at which the point the boundary crosses. One reason this happens is they blur the line. A narcissist will blur the line so often of where your boundary is and where they're going to push on it. They've pushed and pulled so hard that those boundaries become almost not there, not present, and it's really hard to see where the line was crossed and when it happened. So it's hard to then recall where you felt the offense happened to you. And then when it's chronic and when it's continual, it's basically numbing, right? Another reason this happens is we're disassociating from the hurt of what's being done. We're disassociating from all of it so that we can function, so that we can. How can you go on in a relationship with no resolution to any issue, because they'll gaslight you if you try to get resolution? They will blame shift. They will come back at you, right? How can you go on to the next day and the next moment in a relationship if you hold the thought of everything they've done every single time they do it? Because it's chronic. They're going to do these things over and over again. We kind of can't. The only way to move forward for us is to, like, literally forgive and forget and then move on, so that we're not having to continually live. It's like protection plus a trained response of, okay, well, I can't resolve that, so I'm going to try and just move forward, right? It's both a healthy coping mechanism and a healthy relationship taken into a toxic relationship and then misused. And unfortunately, we pay the price because then we can't remember. And when we can't remember, we can't get out. Because if you don't know how bad it is, how are you supposed to know if it's time to leave? How are you supposed to remember? So, okay. It's a coping mechanism to help you survive what you're living in. If you can't get out of it and you're constantly fighting against it and trying to force that person into accountability, it's just going to cause more problems for you, right? And you know it. So it is a coping mechanism, like subconsciously happens. Um, the problem is it then gets you to tolerate the toxic behavior. It raises your tolerance for how bad it can get, how toxic you experience things being normalized. All right. Um, what did I say here? This is part of the reason that we learn to distrust our gut, because we know things are wrong. We know things are bad. We know things aren't reasonable. We know things aren't right. But when we go into this sort of amnesia where we forget what happened, it's it's basically making us not trust ourselves, because part of us knows this isn't right. And the other part of us is like, yeah, this is normal, right? And it's not because we're dumb, stupid, or anything else, and it's not our fault. This is a naturally occurring thing that happens for people when they're under this much stress in relationships, especially when their emotions are involved and they love someone. Okay. Um, it I can remember having an argument about something petty that escalated into the most deflected, convoluted, confusing, gaslighting situation where I was just sitting there. I can remember sitting and staring at the ground, sitting on the couch, thinking, I don't even know how to unwind this. And I'm pretty clever. I'm pretty good at following people. If anyone has ever sat with me one on one in coaching and told me their story in all the different directions that it goes when someone is telling you a story and notices that I actually can follow it. If you've ever seen me in a group setting where I can follow 5 people at once and like actually be able to track with it, I had to realize this isn't me. I'm actually pretty good at this. It took years later seeing that, wait a minute, that wasn't me. I forgot because of this coping mechanism. It wasn't because I actually can't track with a conversation. But you see, the gaslighting, the confusion, the blame shifting, the redirection, the tangential arguing made my mind shut off to what was important, which was the reality, and block it so that I could then just make things better and make the moment better so I could go on and have a better day. And yeah, and unfortunately keeps you stuck with them, because if you just plop down into that situation, you'd run like crazy the other direction, because that's crazy making when people do that. Okay, so um yeah, that was the next thing I was gonna say. They have, because a narcissist has the intermittent reinforcement, the back and forth, hot and cold, good, bad, Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Miss Hyde, right? Because of that, we want to believe that the good side and the warm side, the positive, we have hope, we are shown potential, we're breadcrumbed, we're love bombed, and then boom, we get the opposite. But we want to believe that the good is there. We see the good in people. This is our relationships we're talking about, it, whether it be romantic, a family member, whatever it is, a friend. We want to believe in that relationship and we want to continue to grow that relationship. And so our mind gets locked in this contradiction. And cognitive dissonance happens where we're thinking one thing, feeling another. The two things don't match up. It's super confusing. And this form of amnesia takes place. Okay. What can you do about it? What can you do about it? You guys, you can talk it through. If you feel like you can't remember what happened in an argument over and over, it can happen now and then, whatever. Something wasn't that important anyway, right? Whatever. That can happen. If you feel like it keeps happening where you can't remember that 5 minutes after or an hour after or even the next day what you even thought about and what the point was of that conversation, you've probably been gaslit. And if you can't remember to the point where you're going, I wonder if it was me. I wonder if I was wonder I guess it wasn't that bad. I overreacted. You might want to talk to someone that understands this stuff so that you can have your voice be heard. Hear yourself say things and receive the validation you might need to understand the situation you're in a little better. So talking it through with someone who knows how to help with this stuff, whether it be a therapist or a coach or even a friend who's been through it, whatever, someone that really knows this stuff can be extremely useful. Support is when you're in this confused of a place, it's really hard to break the trauma bonds because you're always going back to it was probably me. It wasn't really that bad. Oh, I see the good in them. Boom, you're back in it. A few months later, it's even harder to get out, and it's harder to get out each time. So, um, another thing you can try is writing a list, keeping that list of the toxic behaviors. Even if you only remember you felt like you were being gaslit, or you felt like they weren't listening to you, or you felt like your side of the story had no impact and it was all about them. You only remember fragments, write those fragments down. Keep a list. That list that you compile can help you see your own truth. Okay. The problem is gaslighting makes us lose ourselves, lose our truth, lose our ability to recognize our truth. So, um, and this kind of amnesia that happens makes it even harder. So, write a plan for yourself on how you want to proceed with your healing. What do you want to work on? What do you want to what do you want for your life? Focus on your own life, focus on your goals. Here's the thing that happened as you heal, these memories come back. People worry a lot because they'll be like, I don't know, 6 months, 9 months out of a relationship with a toxic person and feeling like the trauma bonds are pretty much gone or like lessened to a large degree, feeling like they're getting their life back together. They're actually happy once in a while again. They're out doing things. And then boom, these memories come back. They start having nightmares. They start having memories and they freak out because they're like, well, I thought I was healed. No, the problem is now you're processing. Now you are processing all the stuff that's been locked in there that needs to come out and process. So it's okay. It's totally okay, totally normal if you have these what people call backslides, and I call more just the tangled mess of healing from this stuff, right? Roller coaster, whatever you want to call it. So um having a plan for where you're going with your life keeps your focus on yourself as these memories and as these thoughts come back to you. Um, live in the truth. Cognitive dissonance is confusing. Thinking one thing, knowing one thing, absolutely knowing it, and feeling something else is the most conflicted, confusing place people end up after these relationships. So stop pretending that your feelings are going to lead you somewhere that they're not. You've got to see these people for what they are, see yourself for how you are, your vulnerabilities that lead you back to them, and realize you don't need toxic people in your life. You need healthy people in your life. And that is the simple fact. We don't need the toxic people. They're not going to validate. They're not going to love us. They are not going to be healthy for our lives. And so get rooted in reality as much as you can and stop chasing the fantasy. You got to value yourself. Listen to your voice. Listen to what you want for yourself. If what you want for yourself is coming from a deep hurt, an emotional place, it might be time to talk it through with someone who is a professional who can help you find a voice that is coming from your higher potential instead of one that's coming from your past hurts when it comes to what we want. A lot of people tell me over and over, I just want to matter. And they have tears flowing and they are, I mean, and it's heartfelt, right? And I sit there thinking, what do you mean? You do matter. I mean, of course you matter. And I totally know what you mean. But what I'm hearing is them having their list of wants for their loss and the hole that they have inside that they're trying to use life and these toxic people to help them feel better instead of finding a healthier path, which will lead to feeling like you matter and to finding your worth and knowing that you do matter unrelated to toxic people. But that is another topic and a long one. So if you feel like your wants are coming from a place of your you're lacking because of the programming you've had growing up, then it might be time to work on that, and so that you can find your worth. Setting boundaries. Boundaries are they're kind of the foundation of how to move forward. When we learn to set boundaries, we know where the line is. We're clear where the line is when we learn, and it takes time to get there to learn to set boundaries. We're clear where the line is, and so when people are pushing on it, we know that that's not okay. Everyone's going to push on them now and then, but people that really bulldoze over your boundaries, whoa, we don't have the amnesia anymore when we know what that boundary is. Okay, so let's see, journaling, writing, getting out in life and finding things you enjoy, getting your focus off the toxic person as much as you can for pieces of your day. I know that if you are trauma bonded and you're in this place that we're talking about here, it's not going to be an easy, simple task. So finding moments every day where you're focusing on something else, something positive, something enjoyable, something interesting, and all of that. So that's what I got for this. It's totally normal to experience this type of forgetting, this feelings of, was it that bad? I don't know that it was that bad. Really, was it? What could not, I could take it. There's a lot of things going on and a lot of factors. So, I mean, the number one thing here is find support if you need it, know that it's normal, and just keep moving forward, staying no contact, staying low contact if that's what you are, and working on your own life to separate and break the trauma bonds from that toxic person. Okay, we're gonna move over to the chat here. Hello, everyone. Mima Dragon, hello, hello. Jack Lemon, thank you for modding here and being here as always. And Josie, hello. I'm gonna go back. Where are we? It's happening right now. Oh no. Yeah. What's happening? This is happening. Okay, it's cutting out for you. Did it cut out for anyone else? Or could you hear it? Hopefully. If not, I'll just redo it another day. The stream started in the middle of me saying something for you. Weird. I don't know. I don't know where to start. I'll watch it and I will edit it as a video, and hopefully it didn't cut out on recording. Maybe. Okay. Pushed you into the dark night of the soul. This is what they do, isn't it? You lost your emotions. Well, yeah, because you have to shut down, Josie. You have to shut down in order to protect yourself. You have to hold your, when we're trying so hard not to feel the bad things, and we're trying so hard to protect ourselves from feeling the toxic, dark things that are happening, the unfortunate side of that is we lose the good too. We lose our sense of our emotional life. And so if you're out of the situation, or even if you're not, it can be beneficial and helpful to literally go out and moment by moment look for things that give you any feeling at all. It could be as simple as dewdrops on leaves making you feel nostalgic. It could be as simple as a certain smell, and that's actually a good one to do, is use your senses to get back into your emotions. A certain smell that brings up good memories, or bake some cookies and you don't know what the feeling is that you're having, but you're having one, whatever it is, just let them be there. Don't get too hard on yourself right away with feeling like you've lost your emotions. It's totally normal, and it takes a while to sort of thaw all of that back out and feel safe enough to have the emotions again. So, okay. What are we saying here? I am reading. I'm sorry, I'm not saying anything. Apologies. Working and trying to listen. That's okay. That's why I leave it on repeat for a while. So, Ville-Marie, you're saying that after 8 years must have been really bad because he left, got clean, and now he's everything I wanted for his new supply. We don't co-parent, and he actually spoke to me for the first time in person. They aren't what we wanted for the new supply. They are putting on a role to make it look like they are. Did you not say yesterday they're both pretty toxic, he and the new supply? If that is the case, then they are playing sort of bully gang up on the rest of the world. That isn't what you wanted. You didn't want that. You didn't want to be someone else's toxic counterpart, right? He's behaving because he's clean and he's, acting out in certain ways. It doesn't last. And what you cannot see is what goes on behind closed doors. What they'll never let you see is that. So we have to trust that toxic people are toxic. I mean, here's the thing. If they do change, if say they weren't a narcissistic person or it was something, you know, then okay, there's one less toxic person in the world now if they changed. Yay. Okay, it hurts us, yes. But my guess is that isn't what's going on. My guess is that you are seeing one piece of it and you're so locked in your own pain from the relationship and from what you suffered through that it's hard for you to not take personally what's happening on the outside. And what's happening on the outside being what you're being shown, not what's actually happening. Okay? I think you're only seeing what they want you to see is what I'm saying. Um Okay, I've got to go here in just a second here. I was told to find someone dumb to talk to too. Interesting. um, a recovering smarty pants. Uh, Okay. Jumped. Wait, is Audrix in here? Hey, how you doing, girl? My biggest challenge is when I look at my list of all the bad things. My brain gaslights itself, justifies the actions. Yes. And when you have had repeated things like this happen, when you've grown up with it, when somehow you've been taught that it's you and that it's normal to act this way because of the way you act, then it's really tricky. I think uh Mm, we'll talk later. I can't say too much because I know too much here. So let's see. I think um, to break this, it really is in rooting in reality, in grounding in day to day, in the moment to moment, and a less in what could have been, would have been, should have been. It's what in what you're doing now, and it has nothing to do with him. It has nothing to do with him. We can pretty much determine he was toxic, and um, we have to accept that they are what they are. That even when they hoovered, they don't hoover. There's bits of the toxicity that show up. There's selfishness. There's self-importance. There's all of that. So that is kind of an indication that there's probably something going on there that is not healthy for your life. So if you can always justify action. Maybe that's not the right path. Maybe looking at the list needs to end with looking at the list and you need another task to come directly after it. Sort of like if you were going to go, like I picture a boxer going into the boxing ring, right? And he might psych himself up, or they might psych themselves up with thoughts, with whatever. If they didn't go right into the boxing ring, they'd have all this energy, right? So if you're going to read that list, have something that comes after it so your mind doesn't use all that energy and twist itself back up into something else. That might help you because I know you're a more action oriented person. So maybe having an act that comes after before you read the list. I don't know what it would be. That'll thing to think on. Okay. Okay. Forgot how to be happy. Still searching for that. Little tiny baby steps, Josie. There's an exercise of I mean, this is one thing that like it can be helpful talking through individually because I don't know you. So you can try just noticing what it is you do feel, even if it's not an emotion that's big. Like, and if it's nothing, then it's nothing. It's all right. Um, you could try things like just waking it up, like literally smell some baked goods or smell something that's nice for you, like a certain scent or whatever, and just think, huh, there's an emotion. I don't know what it is. It just mark it, like that feels pleasant. There we go. There's an emotion, pleasant. There's a feeling, whatever it is. Smart to small. Don't worry about the big stuff. Don't worry about the big feelings yet. Because when they come back, you want them to come back slowly. If you're flooded with emotion, you're going to feel way too much, right? All at once. So it's okay. Just little by little. Um, where are we? Oh, it just jumped all the way to the bottom. Forgetting stuff like I don't remember when I read my diary. I can't relate to it. Like it wouldn't have happened. That sounds more like disassociation from things. Like you're just checking out. And um, I mean, it could be either way, right? I can't say, but sometimes we just get spacey. We get brain fog from all this toxicity that's happened in our life. So as you stop, hey Bonnie, as you stop being around the toxic person and as you start working on healing, basically when you are overwhelmed from all the emotional upset and from everything you've been through, it's like your cup is too full and there's no room for remembering life or what you did when you did it. It's a lot of us feel this total fog. So give yourself a break. Take the time to do things like mindfulness meditations, take walks, go swimming, do things that are in your body really grounding, eat healthy as you can, do things to help your nervous system calm down, listen to music you like, take breaks, get some fresh air, all the things that literally help integrate life back in a healthy normal way. And that might help some of the confusion and brain fog and like forgetting where you put your keys type of thing going on over time. Um, Still in the same house, different bedrooms. That's okay, Josie. I mean, it's not okay for you, but it's what I mean by it's okay is you can still have your own life. Right now, if you're still in it and that close to it, having less emotional response to things is sounds like probably your protective mechanism. And so it will come back when you're able to get to a healthier, safer life. It will, don't worry, it will come back. You're going to stay numb to your emotions forever. It's just, um, having a hard time. You're afraid to trust me, Ma. Yeah, trust is hard, and we should talk about that sometime soon because that's a good one. Um, okay. All right. Anything else that I missed here? Wait, let's see if we'll get you the wrench. I can. I don't know how to do that. What happened to the wrench? I don't. I need to take it away. There we go. Dun da da. Got Bonnie the wrench. Okay. Um. All right, you guys. I am going to go. Oh yeah, I just saw the time. So you guys take care. If you don't know who I am Lise Colucci, one of the life coaches over at QueenBeeing.com. And if you need any help, check out all the info on the main description in the main description of each video. There's info on where to find group support, where to find group coaching, and where to find coaching, or if you need to email me or anything like that. So check it out. Hit subscribe if you haven't done so. Hit the thumbs up. And I will see you guys very soon, maybe tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.